Welcome back to the Dylan Madden Show. My name's Dylan Madden. I'm sitting down with the legend of YouTube, Sneako. What's going on, bro?
The legend of Rumble now. I mean, yeah, that kind of does make me a legend. You know, it's cool to be banned, right?
Yeah.
I was talking to Justin Waller, and he was like, oh, someone just took down my Instagram. It's just a bunch of kids trying to spam me. I wish I could say it was the Matrix. It is kind of fun to be like, yeah, the Matrix took me out, and, you know, it gives it a level of like, oh, what's going on?
Sounds cool, yeah.
There's some mystery behind it, but it's great to finally do this in Dubai. A great view.
Likewise, bro.
Thanks to Shooter for letting us shoot it at his house.
Yeah. So one question. Most people, everybody, they see people like you, and they're like, I want to be a content creator. And they get on their phone, they start doing all the weird shit and all that. Like, how can you actually be interesting without just being like stereotypical clown world person? So how can you be interesting and generate influence? Because like the influence you have is like, it's inspiring. So for the average person, how can they start getting into the whole YouTube game, Rumble game, Instagram, whatever, create content in an interesting and entertaining way, but maintain their own sense of truth?
It's interesting to see now because a lot of guys like you, I would call yourself a digital nomad, and people who are really business savvy and add a lot of value to the world, they want to be able to go and share that and get into content creation. I've seen a big shift. I've been doing content for 10 years now. It's been a decade. I'm young. I'm 24, and I've been doing it for a long time. But I've seen like this new demographic, like guys like you, want to get into this space and want to do this. And I think I think you're going about it the right way.
Yeah.
I think the best way to have longevity, and I was talking about this with Myron. Shout out to Myron for producing the show behind the scenes. He was saying,
fuck you guys.
Okay, fuck the producer. We don't swear here. There's a mosque right here. This is a peaceful place. I don't know what. I love everyone personally, but the way to do it is to add value. And I think that's the best way to go about it. Of course, you need to be entertaining. Myron, for example, is a little bit like cop autistic. He's setting it up like an interrogation room, very to the point, matter of fact. Everything is like, this is the way, the wage gap, feminism. And it's good because he's adding value. He's telling you the truth about the world. But you need to have a little bit of personality. There needs to be something genuine about it. A lot of people in Gen Z, they like the relaxed feeling. They want to see something real. And if you can be genuine in a world, because everything on social media is a lie. Instagram is just 100% lies. So if you can be yourself in front of the camera and not have to really put on a persona and also add value to people's lives and be interesting and have something to share, and people will benefit after watching something that you've done, you will be able to last forever. But the people who are just doing cornball stuff, the people who are just acting, the people who are just there to be a spectacle and be a show and to be something to be looked at, it's not going to last, and you're going to crash out.
Yeah. So like for me as an example, I'm starting to kind of go towards the influencer route. Like for the longest time, I've been doing like value. Here's how you make money online. Here's how you close clients. And I started watching you and even like obviously Myron and Fresh and stuff and Andrew Tate. Like, okay, I think I need to add a little bit more entertainment value. And for me, I've started finding my own way to do it without being like a persona. So that actually leads me to what goes through your mind whenever you're creating content. Like for me, it's like, how can I generate, like example, I've been talking about or comparing Islam to Christianity, little things like that, because I'm actually studying the Quran right now, and I've been a long-time Christian. So I'm finding things that are actually authentic to me to be entertaining. But for you, like what goes through your mind when you're creating content? Like I already know because we've been hanging out the last few days, but like for the viewer, what goes through your mind whenever you're writing your tweets, because I love your Twitter, or whenever you sit down to make videos or something like that?
It's at this point where I was realizing that in the mosque just now, I went with Shooter and someone else. I'm not sure if I'm able to say, but we went in there, and I was thinking a lot about how much my brain is tied into social media. It's pretty much one. I've treated it like a diary for so long. I've grown up online. My life is this. I go back and forth, and Myron's like, you haven't really had a real job. Yeah, I've had real jobs. I've worked Uber Eats, I've worked at Subway, I've worked as an office temp, I've worked as a secretary, I did freelance photography. I well, that was in college. I had these simple jobs back, but I didn't really work that long. And so, but ultimately this has been my life, has been social media. And I realized thinking, because it can make you, it's a crazy world. It's a crazy place. There's a lot of nonsense. There's a lot of Satan Satanism
100%,
online.
bro.
It really encourages a bunch of negative behavior. And I was standing in there, and one thing I realized is I always pick my fingernails. I'm always peeling the cuticles around my skins because I'm always thinking about like what people are going to say, what are people saying now, how do I get to the next content, how do I say something that's going to be interesting and different. I'm always thinking about the future. Same. It's hard for me to be in the present because of how much it's been tied into comments and reactions and what's next and coming. But I was standing in the mosque, my hands were like this, just here, and I was very aware of being in the present moment. So I think part of the reason why I don't have to even think about it that much is because it's just my brain is one with the internet. So on Twitter, it's like I know what's going to go viral because I've been doing it for so long. When I stream for 5 hours a night. I go 5 hours a night, 8 p.m. every single day, rumble.com/Sneako. Turn on the camera, me, mic, camera, go. Boom. And I sometimes spend like 20, 30 minutes trying to figure out what I'm going to do. But, I mean, this has been for the past 7 months. I did cinematic videos, street interviews. I've done so many different types of content. But for the past 7 months, it's just been, boom, I'm going to go entertain a crowd of thousands of people for 5 hours. What are you going to do? And you build those skills. Like, when you do it over and over again, you have to add value. It needs to be funny. It's got to be interesting. It's got to be different. There's got to be it's got to be current. It's got to tie into stuff that's going on now. It has to be unique. There's a lot of different things. But I think the biggest thing is to lead with high energy. That's why I like Trump so much compared to the other ones. Trump, he shifted a lot after 2015, but one of the big reasons why that 2015, 2016 campaign was so much fun was it was like, I'm high energy. He was calling Jeb Bush, you're low energy. And it was funny. He's on the debate stage, and you were just, every time the camera would go on him, wrong. You always had a punchline ready to go. Everyone else is robotic. And then you saw like Marco Rubio and the other politicians trying to adopt some of that strategy, become entertaining. And it's just, it doesn't hit like 2015. It was high energy. And then you go to a Trump rally. Even then, I wasn't even that in tune with conservative talking points and the Republican Party, all that. I liked the Trump rally so much because it was just fun. We would just all be, lock her up. Like, yeah, lock her up. Let's go. Like a feminist would show up with a big sign, fat feminist. She'd be like, wah! And then she would get kicked out by the cops and everyone would go, boo, bye. It's just, it had that. Biden can't do that. So I like the fact that if I'm not being entertained, if there isn't high energy, if you're not connecting with the audience, then I don't think there's anything there. It needs that.
So, I mean, what would you say? Because, like, for me, I'm still on YouTube. Thanks be to God. We'll see. Maybe I'll move over to Rumble. But what would you say for the person that sees people like you going out there and actually spreading the truth and being entertaining and all that type of stuff, and they see people like me, they're like adding value in a certain type of way around freelancing. They're like, okay, I want to start creating content, but I'm worried about being banned, so instead I'm not going to talk about certain things. How would you create a brand, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on Rumble, YouTube, Instagram, create a brand that actually aligns with your truth? Because you have a quote that you say all the time.
Truth through funny.
Yes. How would you do that in like 2023 with everything that's going on? I know they're moving into like AI as the future and all this type of stuff, but how would you build a brand in a way that you can actually monetize it, live off it, without having to worry about like losing your entire livelihood? Just
I think you're doing it the perfect way.
Yeah.
I think you're doing it the perfect way where everything that all the stuff that you put out there ties into exactly what you're saying. You're helping people out. It ties into your work outside of content creation. I was talking to Shooter about that. I think the best way to go is to not even prioritize content, especially for young guys. I think that you need to have real life experience. You need to be in the world because, or if you're just a social media guy, what are you going to talk about? I haven't been streaming since I came to Dubai because, and I've been quiet a lot of the time. I'm talking to people a lot older. I'm just trying to take it all in. I'm trying to learn more. I'm trying to experience a different culture. Of course, I've never even been to the Middle East before. I've never stepped in a mosque really and prayed like that before. I'm always trying to take in new information and experience new cultures so that I have something to talk about on stream. If I'm just going to turn on it for 5 hours every night, like, okay, what? Like after like 2 days, it's old. Yeah. So I think that you need to. It's good to have different businesses. It's good to have something else, you know? And I noticed that with a lot of like vloggers that I used to be around in New York City is that they'll be like, they're still making day in my life videos every day. It's like, so what is your day is making day in your life videos. That's what you do is make your morning routine is making a morning routine video. It's stupid. So you need to have something external or else you're just making content about nothing. Right. You need to be outside. You need to be in the real world, which is where you are. Yeah. And I have a question for you. Yeah. I'm wondering, what is the biggest mindset change that you learned from Andrew and Tristan? Obviously, I think you spend more time with Andrew. But what's the biggest mindset shift? Because you can see it in the way that you carry yourself. You're very purpose-driven and direct. What was something that he said that changed your mindset?
Well, it actually started the very first time we met up in D.C. I kept noticing he was using the word conscious. I consciously do this. I consciously do that. And for whatever reason, that really stuck with me. I know that sounds weird, but I was like, wait, I could be like conscious of every single thing I do. And I asked him about it, and he was like, yeah, from the way I dress, the way I grab my cup of water, everything I do is conscious. I don't just randomly go through life doing anything. And for me personally, that first little thing was like super. It just flipped something in my mind, because I realized, because he's really big on self-reflection and analyzing yourself. I realized that so much of what I was doing was just based off because, well, that's what I've always done. And like I was always that weird kid that I didn't want to fit into the mold. I always wanted to be a businessman. I didn't like being told what to do. So I was already on the path. But then I started realizing, like, oh wait, I can actually be conscious of everything I'm doing, like, and intentional. It was little things like that. And then another story, we were going to be launching some new company together, and I was brand new to copywriting at the time. And I was like, okay, we need to have a perfect funnel set up. We have to have all the emails set up. We have to test the product. We have to do this. We have to do this. It's like, no. I want to have, by first thing in the morning when I wake up, because I was always the guy, first one up, last one to go to bed. He was like, I want to have some basic page, some emails done, and let's fucking launch it. And I was like, oh, God. And I stayed up all night. I was so anxious. I didn't even sleep that night. And then we launched it, and it was at the time, it was one of my biggest like successes as far as like some of the stuff we were working on. And that taught me that all you have to do is, you don't have to sit there and like be autistic about like getting the funnels just perfectly, the emails perfect, all this. It's just speed. Like we literally I put together, it was like a click. Do you know what ClickFunnels is?
Explain it.
ClickFunnels, for like all the people that are watching this, is basically just a really easy way to put together landing pages, sales pages, funnels, all that type of stuff. So I sat there.
So funnels into the buy button.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I think there's better things than ClickFunnels. I still use ClickFunnels because I've literally made thousands of ClickFunnel pages. But you can set up super easy web pages where you can go through. It's all fancy. Then click all the cool buttons, all that type of stuff. You can custom code it and shit. But anyways, I set that up. It was like a headline, a few little pieces of copy, and a button. That's all I had, because I'd spent all night. I was like, okay, the emails are the most important. I was just typing them up. Okay, and we launched it. And I'm not going to name drop the amount of money. I'll do it off air. But at that time, it was big like money. Big money.
Yeah,
like
big money. The
probably
fact that you can't say it means it's big.
Bro, it was like 4 or 5 years of what I would have earned is like whenever I was back, because I used to clean bathrooms and I flipped things on Craigslist. It would have been like years and years and years of me like changing trash bags and all that to get to that. He made it in less than a day. And that was all while we were out just eating steak, just doing our thing. And then he went off to drive his Lambo. And I was just sitting there running live chat, just doing my thing. And we made that kind of money just like that.
That will change your entire perspective on how you live life and how you're supposed to be conscious and be deliberate and actually play chess with life. It's funny how strong that analogy is, how every decision you make and everything you do should be conscious. But a lot of people that are stuck in Gen Z, how old are you? You're 26, 27?
I just turned 29.
29?
Yeah.
People you're a millennial, but Gen Z, the people, you've seen the difference. You've seen the shit. You probably didn't grow up completely with social media. And I
was like right on the edge.
Right on the edge.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like people who are just giving it.
Yeah.
We don't think that far ahead because of how distracted. Well, I don't need to speak to you like you're a boomer, but you're constantly just thinking.
I'm fighting it all the time, bro.
Yeah, like 6 seconds ahead, 7 seconds ahead. Yeah. There's so many distractions that you're not thinking very consciously. But there needs to be a direct purpose with everything you do, or else like someone else is just gonna surpass you.
Oh, 100%, bro. Like for me, because I'm so on social media now, it's like I'm on. Like I'll find myself watching my story, watching your story, get off, and I'm like, Dylan, what are you doing? And then I'll start working. 10, 20 minutes, and before I know it, I'm on Twitter tweeting again. Like I tweet first thing in the morning, as soon as I wake up. Oh yeah, you notice.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like since moving here, actually, I'm like, Dylan, you need to chill out. So like, and right now I'm setting up systems where I'll just type out tweets and send it off to a VA, and then I've got another person like schedules the tweets and all that. So I'm consciously, I like that word, trying to use systems and all that to separate myself, because I don't know if you've noticed this, but like if I spend a lot of time on social media, my brain actually starts like, I'm not going to say
Frying.
it destroys my, fries my
Frying.
brain. Like my focus.
That's when I
is
start
that.
picking the fingernails and
I bite my nails. It's something I've been trying to fix as well. But like the more time I spend on social media, sure, I'll gain more engagement and all that type of stuff. But it literally fries my brain. So like, how do you manage that? Because like you have
I'm just used
much
to
larger.
it. I've just been doing it for so long that
Yeah.
I'm just wired in to deal with it. But I think it gives you a competitive advantage to a lot of people, because if you understand what people are talking about that much more,
Yeah.
then it's going to have a different product
Yeah.
than other people. It's just effortless at this point.
Yeah, 100%.
Even after the cancellation.
Yeah, even after the cancellation. Yeah, actually, you said something earlier that I wanted to speak on. You were talking about how people, they want to be like an influencer or whatever, but they don't actually live an interesting life. That was actually something I made a switch on probably 2.5, 3 years ago. I was trying to do the whole social media thing, and a mentor of mine reached out to me. He's like, dog, like I know some of the clients you're working with. Fuck social media. Focus on building a service. Build the service, get your money right, then go do the influencer thing. Because at that point, you'll actually be able to live an interesting life. You'll have plenty of experiences. You'll have traveled the world by that point, done all this stuff. And for me personally, like this, towards the end of last year was when I was like, okay, Dylan, you've earned the right to actually go down this like influencer path, because like I've traveled all over the world, been to 17
You have
countries.
something to talk about.
Exactly.
Right. It's actually funny how quickly Andrew and Tristan conquered social media, even
Massively
after the
fast.
cancellation. And not even really, like, it's my whole thing, pretty
Yeah.
much. I have different courses and businesses,
Yeah.
stuff like that, I invest. But like, really, my bread and butter is social media.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for 10 years. And then they come on the scene, you know, it's not their main thing, but they become that much more interesting and able to speak fast and just dominate a podcast because they have that real world experience. And there's so much noise. Everybody's doing it. So spending more time specifically on that does not mean that you're going to be better than other people.
Yeah.
It means that you're going to be like following the trends and saying stuff that other people are saying. But in a world full of so much nonsense, there needs to be something positive, something different, something that's out of the norm. And actually, it's funny how much of a competitive advantage they can have not being online so much, because people are tired of hearing guys like me all the time playing Twitch all day, gaming, beating off, making the same jokes. No cap, bro.
Yeah.
For real, on God. Like, it's just so, you know, and then they step up and just conquer all of it. And then you see the effect about how jealous everybody gets and how they try to belittle them and try to say that they're grifters.
Yeah.
But it just, it's important. It's so important. It's really funny how social media made me realize how important the real world is.
Yeah.
How important it is to be outside, because you see how empty it is.
Yeah, 100%. And
inside.
like for the average person that's watching this, maybe they're just starting to get into your content, maybe my content, and so they're starting to wake up from the matrix, but they feel depressed because like I talk to kids all the time, bro, and I didn't realize how fucked up people's minds are. Like kids, like super messed up. Like how can they like find their sense of purpose? How can they stay positive, whether they're an influencer, whether they're a freelancer, whether they're anything? Like just on a day-to-day basis, if you're plugged into social media, how can you control your brain and really just find your sense of purpose and escape like clown world, escape the matrix?
You have to be obsessed with succeeding. You have to, so the reality is everybody's going to spend time on social media. Like we're not going to delete the apps. We're going to be part of it anyway. But you need to curate the people that you watch, and so that they have a positive effect in your life.
Yeah.
I'm sure that you don't follow a bunch of feminists and a bunch of like
not at
cancel
all. I
culture
block
people.
them,
So even now, like the stuff that I look at, I'm addicted to social media. But everybody I watch is positive. Everybody I watch, I'm learning something from. It's entertainment, but there's also something that they're saying that I'm going to be able to take away from. I use social media as a tool, and if you're using it to game, if you're using it to go reply to comment sections, and to like if you're putting an NBA young boy profile picture with like, you're just wasting your life. K-pop people, Nicki Minaj stands, like whatever, bro, like you are actually wasting your time, and you're just a pure consumer. And you need to be creating more than you're consuming, especially with this, and how much more it's going to be a tool. Look, it's been proven by Andrew and Tristan how strong the attention economy is. And I say this over and over again, the next billionaires are going to be people that are content creators. The next president, Logan Paul, is going to be in the Oval Office with the nuclear codes, man.
Oh, geez.
It's going to be Bryce Hall, a TikToker, someone going like this, boom, nuclear code, you know, nay-naying on the whatever. But that's the future. Mr. Beast is going to be the next Elon Musk, 100%. He's 24. He's my age. I've known him for long. I'm telling you, he's going to be the next Zuckerberg. He's going to be the next these are the people that are going to dominate the world and be the richest people, because influence and attention is a currency. That's the new crypto, is attention.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't fully understand that, but you need to understand that now. So, and look, your mind is, if it's free, then you're the product.
Yeah.
So social media is free, and
Oh wow,
think about that. What?
that was deep.
No, yeah. If it's free, you're the product. So
Yeah.
you don't have to pay for Twitch. So
Yeah.
how are they going to make money off of you? They're going to destroy your mind. They're going to rot it. You can't say the word simp. They want you to be addicted. They want,
Yeah.
You're getting dumber. You're getting slower. They're spamming ads that are 3 minutes long. So you sit there, Coca-Cola, okay. Your brain is what they're mining. That's what they're taking away from. So once you understand that, then you know how to utilize your time. Time is a commodity. Time is the most powerful resource you have. So you can't waste it at all. People that are watching this right now, and if you're depressed, stuff like that, I've been there before. I'm sure you've been there before.
Yeah.
You completely shift that when you don't even believe that you have it. When you don't even believe that it's real.
Yeah.
I think the biggest shift has been hypnotizing my mind to not even allow those thoughts to enter.
Right.
I want to hear what yours is, but I will quickly say mine. It's just, as soon as I get a negative thought, and sometimes it happens like when I wake up and I scroll, like, oh, you lazy piece of shit. Just push it out.
So it even happens to Sneako.
I don't allow
I
don't allow any of that to enter my mind anymore. You have to be conscious with everything you do, and you can't. Every time you have a negative thought, anytime you don't speak negative words, don't say anything, don't engage in like debates back and forth with nobody arguing about celebrity drama, celebrity bullshit. You can't, because it's gonna rot your mind. But I'm curious. You used to be. I mean, you used to be fat, like you used to be
fat,
extremely
super fat, bro.
How was Andrew, like, was the conscious thing that he said, was that the biggest shift, or like how did you get out of like being a slave wage, overweight, stuff like that to where you are now? You're from South Carolina?
Oh yeah.
If you hear how he sounds, I would have never thought that. You sound like you're from like South Africa or something. Like I don't even know. Like you sound like a guy on the radios from the 40s. How did you become like some dumpy guy?
Yeah.
To what you are now?
So for me, I used to be like, I used to sound like this. It was bad, bro. I posted a video to Instagram the other day, and I was like, literally, I was like, oh man, this is so cringe. And my team's like, no, post it. People need to see it. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll post it. But I changed my voice to the point where people in South Carolina would be, where are you from, boy? And I'd be like, I'm from here. You don't sound like us. You from New York or something? And I'd be like, no, I've been here my entire life. But for me, I was always like, kid. I just wasn't happy. Like, I was never happy. I always felt like I was missing something. So that led me to reading a lot of like self-help books. But then you get to a point where you're like, I've read like 100 books now. Like my life hasn't changed. And
you become addicted to self-improvement instead of actually improving.
100% addicted to it, bro. And then one time I got out of the shower and I had somebody in the other room. Got out of the shower and I saw myself in all of my glory as it was jiggling as I got out of the shower. And I weighed myself. Bro, it was disgusting.
How much you weigh?
I was 285 pounds.
Bomba clock.
Yes, bro. 285 pounds. And I saw, like, literally, bro, I put a shirt on. I just went back to the room, like, don't look at me. And I just
was anyone there, or was it just you?
Oh, it was a girl, yeah.
Oh.
And I was just like, don't look at me. I didn't actually say that, but, like, that's how my mind felt.
Were you you had a shirt on when you were having bumbleclot sex?
Oh, before I never even saw myself as like super fat until I got out of the shower for whatever reason. That moment, maybe I was like stupid before that or something, but I got out and my right foot touched the ground and my entire body just jiggled. And I was like, my God, this is what I look like.
Wow.
Well, there was an earthquake later that day. I'm kidding. So like seeing that, and then I was always like had like an addictive personality. So like if I used to play World of Warcraft. I played World of Warcraft. One of my least played characters had like 24 hours in it, bro. 24 hours of my life in that one character. So I always had that obsessive personality. And then I started turning that addictive personality, the obsessive personality, into only obsessing about how can I make money? What do I not have that all these other people do? And I started networking with people. This was probably 2014. And I met Andrew in 2019. So this is 2014, 2015. And I started going to these events. And I've always been... I was talking to actually Fresh, I think last night. He said for him, his networking ability just happens naturally. I've always been that guy too. I think it's because people just sense I'm being genuine. I don't want anything out of the interaction. So like I would find myself still super fat, no value to offer to the world, but I would find myself like at events. And then example, a guy named Mike Certovich one time, he just shot me a text or a DM. He's like, yo, Dylan, my assistant's not going to be here. Can you help me run the event? Sure, let's do it. So I ran the event. Then Ed Lattimore and Alexander Cortez, hey, Dylan, we're going to run an event. Can you help me with that? Sure, why not? So for me, anytime opportunity knocked, I didn't care if I was broke. I would find a way to make money to put myself in that situation. Because in my mind, I knew as long as I can be around successful people, there's no reality where I'm not going to be successful, which leads to kind of my mindset. In my mind, there's like in my mind, I literally say this, there's no reality where blah, blah, blah happens or doesn't happen. It just depends on the frame. And I literally, this will sound crazy, was on another podcast, I think last week sometime, I talked to my mind as if it's another entity. That's something I started doing around 2016, 2017, and it works for me. So I don't know if maybe you're like, oh my God, why am I talking to this Dylan guy? But I literally, my mind, I talk to it. I just say mind, like I don't have like a name for it. But I literally talk to my mind like it's a friend, an ally, whatever. And for me, because I used to have like super negative thoughts all the time, like suicidal at one point. I've made a video about it, just how I overcame that. For me, my mind's always been very powerful. I'm always thinking. I'm always observing. That's why sometimes I tend to be a little too quiet, because I'm just constantly just absorbing and studying everything. But for me, looking at my mind is almost like an ally and friend. Like it's my tool that I can navigate the world with, and directing it instead of it directing me. Because a lot of people are watching this. They wake up, their mind tells them, "Oh, you're a piece of shit. Oh, why you don't deserve to be rich? You don't deserve this."
A lot of people's minds, they allow the culture to.
Yes.
They ride the wave of whatever the culture's doing. Whatever Rihanna's wearing, they have to respond to it. Whatever's trending on Twitter, like did you? They live for what other people are doing in the current trends.
Yeah.
Because thinking is a hard thing to do, and directing your mind in the right direction.
Yeah.
It's a difficult thing to master that. And I've noticed how many people will actively avoid having to think for themselves. Because they
just read headlines. Yeah,
they read, but also they don't want to go through that self introspection. They don't want to have to analyze. It's one of the hardest things that a lot of people have to do, especially with how many distractions are out there and how easy it is. Especially if you start getting those uncomfortable thoughts like, "Oh, I'm a fat piece of shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm late. I'm not doing anything." Boom, here.
Yeah.
More distractions. Someone else is twerking.
Yeah.
Something else is going on.
Yeah.
The escapism is getting worse than ever.
Well, it's just going to keep getting worse, which is why I'm glad that we're sitting down having this conversation. Because, especially you, like the way you're navigating, like it's really something I've admired about you is you were like this entertainer or whatever, but like you really came into this. What are you going to call it? Red pill.
I would say red pill. Yeah, the truth.
Yeah, you've really came into this like truth space where you're waking people up, and since you've lived on that side of the world or in that world, you can now speak to like the kids that are like addicted to it. Because I know nothing about Twitch, but you can actually speak to those types of people. I'm beginning to get exposed to like the younger generation, see how like messed up their minds are. But like,
well, I think that's my appeal is that I'm somebody who's made it out of that social media distraction world.
Yeah.
I started off with red pill content, funnily enough. Like, I've been doing it for so long. If you look at the videos I made when I was 14, 15, it was called, I had this video called, it's all in the Creativity Kit now because they canceled it. It's too bad, but a teenager's ambitions and a teenager's aspirations. It's me, 14, camera mic in my room, like, I don't want to work a job. I just want to do it. I don't want to be 40 and regret what I didn't do with my life. What's the most important thing you could do? I'm 14 saying all this stuff.
Jeez.
And then I'm 15. I'm talking about how feminism is a lie. Why would they call it humanism? Why are they trying to uplift women more than men? Like, I was just analyzing the world. And those are my favorite videos. I was in there and I would finish it. A lot of people would say like, "Oh, you're misogynistic." They'd say I'm racist. They'd say like, "Oh, you're being too harsh." Like when I would say like, "You can't be a lazy piece of shit." I was 14. Like, I need to go make it for myself. Like, "Oh, why are you being so harsh?" But I would be like, "Yeah, this is the right thing to do." Yeah. But then there were a couple of years where I kind of got dragged into this world and the woke thing, and it was just this back and forth and getting addicted on social media, and then being in college and not knowing and giving up. I gave up for like 3 years, something about that. I didn't upload. I had maybe 27,000 subscribers, which was like one of my proudest things when I was a young teenager. I had this pillow that I sat on. And I bought it with YouTube AdSense.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look at this pillow. Like, I bought this with Call of Duty commentary money. And then I stopped for a while, and I was just on this path of hedonism. I was in college, drinking all the time, partying, and just looking for validation and stuff like that. And it made me, that's when I was really depressed, and I had no specific direction. But the fact that I can speak to that, and I understand how powerful this is and how to get out of that with the right mindset, I think that's I think that I'm very effective, and I think that's why they cancel me. Like, is waking up the teenagers, those people who are sitting there right now playing Fortnite all day long. They know that they want to do something. They're not sure what it is.
Yeah.
But they
that
don't.
nagging feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, there's that nagging thought, and they're just playing games all day, and they, they're watching porn instead of. They have that thought in the back of their head, and I know exactly what that voice is because I tapped into that at a very young age. So I think that's an effective thing, but. The Matrix, they will bring you in. And when you get that nagging voice, they will actively try to shut it out as much as possible, put it away, and then suddenly you wake up and you're 40 years old.
Yeah.
You're in a relationship that has no sex.
Yeah.
You're with a wife that is controlling you. You're a debt slave. You're paying taxes in a bracket that you shouldn't be in. You're not in a nice house, and you gave up on your dreams. Men will so quickly give up on all their aspirations and goals and dreams for a little bit of dopamine, so that they can watch the game and drink a beer and be like, Brady, Tom Brady, or some porn, or to go to the strip club and like you see him in Vegas, like you see him at the casino just to sit hunched over.
No, it's disgusting. Yeah.
Boom, boom. They'll throw away everything for just some quick satisfaction.
Yeah.
So I want to get those people right now before they give up and before they because that's what it is really. Everybody has that nagging thought like, I want to do something, I want to create, I want to stand out, I want to add value to the world. And then they end up choosing the easier, they let someone else think for them.
Yeah.
And so if you can get those people before they give up, before they go down that route.
So what would you say if somebody's like 25, 26 years old and they've had that nagging feeling, but they don't know anything?
It's not too late. It's not too late. Even people in their 30s, I don't think it's ever too late. I think in your 40s.
So even like 40.
I've seen people wake up like in their 40s and 50s. I've seen people like come up to me at the Fresh and Fit party, for example. The guy's like 40, like I just got out of a long marriage. Like thanks for what you're saying. Like and they have this. You can have a red pill awakening like any time in your life, man. There's movies about it, like American Beauty. Kevin Spacey, like in 1999, there were all these movies about guys like late 30s, early 40s. They're in a job they don't like. They're in a marriage that is loveless.
Yeah.
And then they have this sort of awakening, and they embrace masculinity. They start to lift weights. They have jobs that are outside, Office Space, Matrix, American Beauty, Fight Club. All these films, that was about that specific Truman Show, where they embrace what they're naturally supposed to do. I don't think it's ever too late. 25, 26, man, light work, man.
Yeah, light work. So you live in the Matrix, essentially, right now in Miami. What have been your thoughts of Dubai? Because I heard
Miami is as outside of the Matrix in the United States as I think it gets.
Yeah.
In the United States, at least, live in a nice apartment, a lot of beautiful women everywhere, great weather, lower taxes, have a gun.
Yeah.
I'm able to.
America.
Yeah, I get the freedoms and stuff like that. I wake up when I want. Amazing food, stuff like that. But Dubai, it's been a couple days, and I understand why people who are red-pilled see this as like the utopia.
Yeah.
And I've been considering getting a spot here. I think there's so many. It just is the obvious choice right now.
Okay. So I guess my last little question is we got to go grab some dinner and some shisha. What would, like, if for anybody that knows of you, like, how can you best help them? Like, whether they want to get into the social media space, whether they want to start making money. Like, do you have anything that you could direct them towards?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you can find me rumble.com/Sneako and thecreativitykit.com.
Okay.
That's where I teach. We have different professors, like e-commerce, crypto, and editing, stuff like that. Of course, I've mastered editing. That was a big part of my career. And I know how to make money online. That's what I'm good at. That's what I've mastered, if anything. I know I didn't have a Matrix job like Myron, like he's saying, like, you don't have real world experience because I worked as a cop for 30 years or whatever. My experience is making money online, so I teach that. And especially, I'm the content creator specialist. I know how to use the attention economy for your advantage, and I think I think all the future billionaires, we're going to look back and be like, yo, remember those days back on YouTube and Rumble when we were doing this? Like, now we're here. Look what we built doing the right thing online.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Thanks, Dylan.
Let's do it again. Awesome. Let's see. So there's a slight dress code. Just slight. But you don't have to do – your usual outfits are good.
Do you want me to cut?
Yeah, please, bro. Thank you.